Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's such an honor to be here in your midst and to have you all join us on our live webinar session. So now, on behalf of Queen of Sales community, I would want to warmly welcome you to today's live session. We are so excited to have you here with us. And for those of you joining us for the first time, Queen of Sales is a global community dedicated to elevating women in sales from every entry-level professional to top-tier executives. Our vision is bold, right? To champion 60% female representatives in commercial leadership across the world. Through membership, visibility, and opportunities, we are building a strong pipeline of women in sales, empowering careers, shaping leaders, and creating a most inclusive future. Mind you, our core values are very simple yet very powerful, which is leadership, collaboration, growth, excellence, and visibility. At Queen of Sales, we believe so much in rising by lifting others, and I know several of us here definitely can testify that wherever you are today in your career is definitely as a result of someone who had given you a helping hand or support in one way or the other, and this is a core value we hold very dear. So whether you're starting out your sales journey or leading strategically in C-suite level, you definitely belong here. So this year we are rolling out our transformational programs from local meetups to international conferences to our Girl Child Empowerment Initiative, which I love so much. We are starting and bringing you into the community and ensuring everyone is included. As you can see, the digital events of which today is part of. So no matter where you are, no matter where you are in your career, who you are, and what location you are, you can learn, connect, grow with us. So once again, welcome. We are very much glad to have you, and we're looking forward to having an inspirational and impactful session. So welcome to the Queen of Sales. And without further ado, it's great we have our speaker here, and I'll be introducing our keynote speaker. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session, and but no other than Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo. She's the Director of Sales and Marketing of Echo Hotels and Suites, which is Nigeria's premier corporate hospitality brand. Since 2021, she's been the driving force behind innovative revenues, models, including the iconic tropical Christmas Wonderland and the Hakuna Matata theme park initiative that generated billions. Leading a large and diverse team, Dr. Gbadebo oversees sales, marketing, branding, public relations, and event management across 825 rooms and 11 restaurants, making her a powerhouse in the industry, in the hospitality industry. Her career spans more than 21 years, beginning as a business development manager at OJ&T Limited, where she marketed CNN advertising space to West Africa and the Middle East. She went on to serve as a national sales manager for North American Airlines, building multinational relationships and boosting ticket sales, and later to Courtney Aviation Services, where she drove business growth at Musala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2. Beyond corporate leadership, she's also a successful entrepreneur, as the CEO of BGV Limited and Theater Agus Par Nigeria. She has organized high-profile events, introduced Theatre Agus Spa branches to West Africa, and even to 4 branches in Nigeria, where nearly 100 staff, sorry, in under 5 years. Academically, Dr. Gbadebo holds a PhD in business management from MSBM UK, an MSc in marketing from the University of Salford, Manchester, and a BSc from theatre and performing arts from the University of Lagos. So our UNILAG people. Her diverse expertise covers sales, marketing, PR, corporate communications, business development, and strategic leadership. She is without a doubt a trailblazer who embodies business acumen, creativity, and leadership at the highest level. Please join me in welcoming and giving a warm welcome to our speaker today, Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo. You're welcome, Ma.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank
Good
you all
afternoon.
very much for being here. Good afternoon, everybody. I see
Yes,
we have
Ma.
about 21 participants already. I'm told we have
Yes.
about 100 people registered. Shall we wait for people before I start, or do you want me to start right now?
Okay. For the sake of time, because we're still going to have like Q&A sessions, and several
So
others will still be coming
maybe
in.
we start at 4:15. Is that all right? Just to give
Okay.
people some time to get out to sign on.
Okay.
Does that work for you? Does that work for everybody else who's joined already? And thank you for the early birds, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Iyadunni, please, while we wait, I think maybe you can use this opportunity to speak to, especially now we have more Nigerian audience, to tell them more about the community for Nigeria while we wait for more people to join, please. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well,
Sorry to interrupt you, please. Please, in case you join this meeting and your name is showing as Godwin ARPA, please, you can click on your name to edit your name. We actually have some technical issue, and that's why your names are appearing that way. So please, you can do that now that we're trying to wait for more people to join. Thank you very much.
okay. Well, welcome to Queen of Sales community. This is a community that I'm super excited to be sort of representing and heading for Nigeria. We're a global community of professional women in sales, in the sales profession. And for me, I mean, I think we've had several sessions in the past where one of the exciting conversations I like to have is how weird it is that somebody like me, who's always running from a gathering with too many women, I don't know, too many women just scare me. So when I get into a gathering with too many women, I'm like, oh my God, I just get so frightened. But I would say that with Queen of Sales, I find a community here where I feel very safe, where I feel very comfortable with the kind and caliber of queens that exist in this community. I'm now more open and relaxed with gatherings where women are doing powerful things, and I see the value of being in this kind of space. I mean, how beautiful is it when you are a saleswoman and you're in a community of people that are in the same profession as you, but in several different industries. So women in sales and hospitality, in tourism, in the oil and gas industry, in the fast moving consumer goods space, but everybody's leaning on everybody else's experiences, expertise, talent, connection. I mean, what is a sales role without having the right kind of network and connection? And I think that's one of the beautiful and brilliant things about being a member of the Queen of Sales community. I think that Nwamaka and the team are really excited at the moment, and their registration is free for now. but our community is really, really growing fast. My recommendation would be to say, if you're not already a registered member of this community, I think you should register now, before we start making it expensive to register. But yeah, we support each other, we mentor each other, we encourage each other, we help each other grow in our various fields of endeavor. And you know, when you have a healthy community where, you know, you're getting value from being in that community, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in the community. I think that in today's world as well, where, you know, it's almost a thing, that people, it's a stereotype that people have, where a lot of people talk about women supporting women, but I don't know whether it's true that women actually support other women. I think it's more a conversation. The reality of our situation as women is we're more admirative of other women, or jealous of other women, or envious of other women, and it shouldn't be that. If you see a woman who you admire, for whatever reason, whether it's because she has an excellent work ethic, whether because she's very successful in her career, or, you know, or she's doing so well, there's always a story to it. Whether you admire the woman just because she simply dresses very elegantly or speaks eloquently, whatever the reason is, you know, always look, for me, I always say that it's best to always look on the bright side of every situation. There are some times that as a woman, just looking at another woman, you know, there's a little bit of, does she think she's better than me? You already put a defense on. There's no point of that. And I think that that's one of the things I absolutely love about the Queen of Sales community, is that there are no airs around us. You know, the last one of the last sessions that we had, it was beautiful to see women from the oil and gas sector, but in oil and gas marketing. And I mean, and that's an industry that, for me, I didn't really think that the oil and gas sector really require selling. I thought, you know, everybody talks about oil as if, you know, it's the biggest thing since sliced bread. And I just didn't think that they did any work selling, but they are actually selling. They are marketing, you know, their products and their services, and there's an actual effort being put in there. And so, you know, I was very pleased to meet, you know, women in the, you know, in the oil and gas sector who are selling. And for me, it was a breath of fresh air. You know, I find that in this community, it's very easy to meet the brand manager, the marketing manager, the sales manager of, I don't know, everything from Nigerian breweries to, you know, Unilever. So if you have a healthy community of and a network of powerful women that you're not paying to go and meet at an event, to dress up, to make up, to go and meet, and you have access to them, I think for a salesman, that is money right there in your hands. And this is what the Queen of Sales offers, to the female, community of sales professionals. And to be honest with you, kudos to the entire management team of Queen of Sales. They're doing an excellent job. We're global. You know, you're meeting not just local or Nigerian sales professionals. You can very well be meeting sales professionals from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Namibia, South Africa. You can be meeting your counterparts in the US, in the UK, you know, in Europe, you know, anywhere. So how powerful, and you know, it's weird that that word power in the last 2 days has resonated so deeply with me, that I think is one of the things that I'm going to talk about here, and when we do start our, you know, our chat. But you see, that power that you need as a saleswoman resides very deeply in the quality first and quantity of people that you know. And the Queen of Sales gives you that on a platter of gold. Yes, and I strongly encourage everybody who hasn't already registered to be a member of this community to do that. There are many other communities where women thrive, that have a proven track record Wimby's, has grown very, very largely into this, powerful network of women as well. But I'm just saying that, where you have that healthy space where women can learn, can grow, can thrive, and most importantly, can get the right kind of mentorship, because that's one of the most, I would say, pandemic things for the Gen Zs and after them. That if you do not have the right kind of mentorship, it will be very, very difficult for you to thrive in any business, talk less of just sales. So you guys have this on a platter of gold. I think you should take full advantage of it. Network is always, it cannot be overemphasized. The people is the power that you carry, and it is the network in just that number of and that quality of people that can position you and make you ready to thrive and excel in the sales profession. And the Queen of Sales, again, offers you that on a platter of gold. Take full advantage of it. I wish I had something like this when I was starting off in my sales career. I think I wouldn't have waited 23, 24 years to get to where I am now if I had a platform like the Queen of Sales 23 years ago. So you do have an advantage here that you should definitely capitalize on. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you. Like my colleague Wamaka had mentioned, so if you're on the call and you notice your name is carrying Godwin or Ruth, you can actually check, try to double click on I don't know what device most of you are joining in from, but try to see how you can change your names. So it's easier for us to address. I can see Ruth Ifah's hand is up.
Sorry, Ruth. Can I just quickly mention something? I'm getting a lot of messages, people struggling with connections, with trying to connect to the class. I think we need to fix that.
Okay.
Do you want to send me a link I can share with people that they can join? That's
Okay, let me see if I can get one.
Oh, well, please respond and start sending.
So I can drop it on the chat.
You can drop it on the chat so that people can share with other people. But I think on our personal messages as well, Annabelle is responding to all the messages that I'm getting. So, and she's forwarding them the link again so that they can join. I think that's the reason why we have a lot of people are trying to connect and they're not able to.
Yeah. And my link is what's reflecting my name and Godwin's link as well. So I've shared it on the chat. So if you see it, you can please try and share to your friends. So we have everyone on the call. This is 4:18. So Dr. Iyadunni, should we start or should we wait 2 more minutes?
I'm at your beck and call. My calendar is
yeah, I think you can
so
start.
please let me know when you're ready and I'll start.
Okay. So Dr. Iyadunni, thank you so much for that intro. We're here to glean from your years of experience and we want to learn and share from your inspiration. Do you mind sharing with us what inspired you to take the leap from being a top performing sales professional into leadership? What was your inspiration?
Okay, just before I get into an inspiration, for the people who've just joined, it is an absolute honor to be here with you guys, with you excellent women who are not just chasing numbers, but rewriting what leadership in the sales profession looks like. Today, I will share with you a part of my journey, right? Not a perfect story, but a lot of lessons, a lot of my fears, a lot of my wins, a lot of truth, because I like to stick to the path of truth, because a lot of people don't have the luxury of the honest side to conversations, right? And all of these things are the things that have shaped me. But because the art of selling and leading are not about perfection, they're really about progress, right? I would share from a very honest point of view with you, and hope that by the time this class of this session, this fireside chat is over, you would be going back into the world to conquer, unapologetically going to conquer. I'm hoping that after this conversation, that we'll be all fired up to just go and take on things without apologies. Okay. You've asked me a question about what inspired me to take the leap from being a top performing sales professional to leadership. First of all, I appreciate you considering me as somebody who is a top performing sales woman. I would say that there are a couple of things in that, in responding to that. One of them is definitely the desire to have a multiplier impact, moving from individually winning to enabling my team to win. My background academically is in theater and performing arts. And one of the key things that theater taught me is a proverb that I hold very, very dearly. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So imagine you put a bracelet on, a chain on, or a necklace on, and one of the hooks of the necklace is broken. Once it's broken, you don't have a chain anymore. It means that you don't see the beauty of that piece of jewelry. You cannot keep that piece of jewelry together anymore because one piece is broken. Now, imagine that in teams, whether it's sales, it's marketing, it's business development, whatever it is. If you're not motivated by seeing every piece of your team winning, you alone, no matter how much of a star you are, cannot shine alone. In fact, you shine brighter when there are more people around you shining. This is a class on its own, this particular point. Your desire to multiply impact it should be a class on its own, because especially for women, communities where you have women, I have had a couple of female bosses. I haven't had great experiences having female bosses, and that's maybe particular to me. It may not necessarily be them. It may be the overpowering nature of my personality. So I'm not casting any stones here or putting any blames. But what I've taken away from that experience is to ensure that if I ever become a female boss, I have to be the example of the kind of female boss that I would have loved to have when I had female bosses. Okay? So what that did for me was it made me just vie into looking for roles where there are more male bosses, because men are easier to deal with, but it doesn't change the fact that it needs to be fixed. I'm not the easiest person to work with as a female boss, but I'm the one that requires you to be at the least like me. My hope will be that you're a better person than me. You're a more qualified person academically. You're a more qualified person professionally. And, we can go head on. I have raised and nurtured and mentored a lot of young women, a lot. But I'm young myself. And the reason I was in that place, I was able to be in that place, is the experience that I had when I was being bossed by a female, and I knew, I was very clear, I always play devil's advocate, so I really criticized what people did, and it was clear in my mind the kind of female boss that I don't want to be. So I have a very strong desire, born out of my experience with female bosses, to have a multiplier impact, and move teams from a place where we're looking at individual growth and success to collective growth and success. Because when it's collective, like I said, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. When it's collective, when everybody wins, I, as the boss, as the leader, I shine even brighter. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to paint you a scenario. Imagine a female boss who is a diva, a leader. She's a diva. She's beautiful. She's eloquent. She's brilliant. She has her, excuse my French, she has her shit together, and remember we said that this was going to be a truthful and no holds
Yeah.
barred conversation. So
Yeah.
don't hold me on the grammatical, or the political nuances, but just accept me for being just speaking as honestly and as openly as possible, right? So in that space, imagine you have this powerful woman, and everybody, all the people around her, her entire team look like suffering step brothers and sisters. They don't even look the part. They don't even look anything like you. I mean, it means that you're the only one shining. I mean, how do you do that? How do you win that way? If I'm, as a saleswoman, I'm going to walk into a bank, I'm going to seal $1 million deal, and I have a team of my subordinates or my colleagues working with me, and all of them look like people who don't even look the part. They're not presentable, and I'm the only one shining. You're going to walk in there into that meeting, and you have left an impression. People are very judgmental, and they will judge you and kill you even before you start talking. They would your story is very glaring from just the kind of powerhouse that you walk into. I paint the same scenario. If I walked into a meeting and I had 4 team members working with me, and I'm in my Christian Louboutin shoes, I'm in my Hermes bag, not that those things are very important. They are good to have, but not that they're deal breakers. If I walk into that meeting and everybody around me, my assistant, my co-sales, my sales executives, and everybody looks like a powerhouse, I'm more likely to get my deal through just from the powerhouse that I've walked into your office with than if everybody else, apart from me, looked like a piece of shit. Do you see what I'm saying? So, in every way, shape, and form, it is important that as a leader, you're not a leader who has self-inflated egos that you cannot go past, because you cannot lead right when you're not leading, when the people who you're leading are anything less of you. I mean, again, this conversation may not be born out of real intention for sales leaders to want to bring everybody else down. Sometimes you do it because you imagine that, since I'm the boss, I'm the one that should be shining. But the true reflection of an excellent leader, especially a saleswoman, women in leadership in sales, is that everyone around you, your entire team, looks the part. Life is a stage and everyone is an actor. And you have to understand that. And unless all the players in that act look like lead actors, you're less likely to achieve success with it. Your gain, your biggest win, and your biggest victory is in everybody putting their utmost best and their best foot forward. And that way, all of you together shine so gloriously. The second inspiration to take the leap from being a top performing salesperson to leadership is my passion for developing others. And I think that that's also in what I've just sort of embodied in the first point. Also, realization that leadership is the next level of selling. There's no way, but by the time, when you're selling visions, you have to sell trust as well. You have to sell confidence as well. And if all of these things do not look good only on you, then, I mean, there's no point. Walk alone. You don't need a team. If you're going to be a successful leader, it is in how many more leaders you're able to build. I have a very quirky way of whenever somebody comes to me to share me a proposal or something, I have a team of people, and everybody has their responsibilities and their roles. As soon as you walk into my office with a client who's willing to talk to us about any, partnerships, or the first thing I say is, okay, for instance, Mr. Henry is the person in charge of advertising. I say, well, I'll introduce you to my boss, Henry. He's not really my boss, but I introduce him as a boss just so that you know. First of all, what I'm giving him is the power to assume leadership immediately. And let me tell you what happens. I find it very spiritual. What happens is, as soon as I introduce him as a boss, he doesn't have any choice. Very quickly, he rises into that character. He's even if prior to that conversation, his dialogue usually is, oh yes ma, oh yes, he says yes, and this is, yeah, I will take it on, I will sort it out, he assumes that character immediately. And what you've done is you've allowed your subordinate shine. And when he has shined, he wins. That win is not just his. Actually, it's your win. And you shine even brighter because you have made him shine. And it speaks very glaringly to the kind of leader that you are. Lastly, I would say that inspired by women who I have sort of looked up to, a lot of them don't even know that they're my quiet and silent mentors. There are quite a number of women that I admire even from afar. I study them. I trail them. I read about them. I just, I'm involved, and I get into everything that these women do from the background, and that's my personal style. And once I'm able to decipher that these people are actually true to what they present, because people are not always very truthful. What you see sometimes is a facade. Again, topic and story for another day. There are a lot of women who are in top leadership positions who got there in very, very funny ways. And you only realize how they've gotten there, and when you realize that this is how they've gotten there, you're like, this is not the kind of, this is not my style. This is not the kind of thing I want to do to get on top, to be a leader. This is not the kind of thing. So that woman that you've admired just because you've seen the surface of it becomes a woman that you're very, am I sure that this is the kind of mentor? Which is why mentorship is very, very critical for leaders and women who want to end up in leadership roles and positions in sales. So I am very much inspired, and this is what inspired even these women, and seeing these women, lead in their various capacities has inspired me to want to move from just being a top performing saleswoman to being a leader in the sales profession.
Wow, that's really great. I really love how you put it, that using the analogy of the link and how it's to empower others. That's a beautiful inspiration and reason for one to want to jump in to leadership position, because that's what leadership is all about. Thank you so much, Ma, for that. Of course, now knowing that you were inspired to be able to empower women, or to be able to empower others, and why you were able to that was like the push you needed, right, to take that leap. How can you share with us? I mean, I love that you said this is an open session. So how can you share with the house how and what that defining moment was for you? So of course you had the fire inside of you. I want to do this. I want to, inspire others. I want to be the leader I wasn't privileged to have while growing in the ladder, in the leadership ladder. So how do you get that defining moment for you? Did you get there? Or what was the defining moment?
Well, I would say, I mean, I have a few of them, and in various different instances, but something that keeps coming to mind is how I see what power and influence does in sales. And I see that to be a leader, right? Most of the females in leadership in several industries that I've met and I've been fortunate enough to engage with have one thing in common. They have power and they have influence, right? They're able to will power and they're able to use the power that they've willed to influence things and outcomes that favor them, right? So I think I have a God-given grace where people naturally gravitate towards me. I don't know, I can't tell you exactly what that is, but people think that I have answers to all the questions. I have solutions to everything. It's not quite true. Sometimes when people ask me something, it is when you've asked me that I now go and think about it, and I now invest my time and my resources into actually pondering deeply on that. And I'll call you back and I'll be like, you know what? I thought about this, and this is what I think, and this is what I think. And for whatever reason, I think this is the grace part of it. I think that because of that grace, that of course is bestowed on all of us by God, I think that, you know, if you have an aura where people naturally gravitate towards you, that in itself is a defining moment where you realize, oh, I actually have capacity. Then the next phase of that is, what do you do with that capacity that you have? You've seen that people gravitate towards you, but what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
What intentionality is there in making that grace that is upon you something that you now use to impact other people's lives? Knowing that if you are able to impact as many lives, you are not doing it just for their gain, you're not doing it just to help them. Ultimately, this also helps you.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll give you a very typical example of this. Again, I always call myself a village woman who, a village-minded, old school-minded woman who has now, you know, bagged a doctorate degree. Academically, I was very, very unsound. I could tell you that for free. I was a rebel. I was the backbencher. I was the one who got in trouble in school all the time. I'm an ex-Queen's College student, ex-Unilag student. And even in University of Lagos, I know people who know me from Unilag. In theater, I was the odd one out. You would see me from top to bottom in my cowries, in my ripped jeans. You know, those people that you just see and rate and say, you know what, this one doesn't have any future. Now, when you are somebody like that, right, I think one of the main things that happens to you is you then get to a stage in your life where you want people to actually take you seriously. You want people to see that the stone that the builder rejected is now the cornerstone.
Yeah.
Many people ask me today, why did you do a doctorate? Why did you go and do a PhD? In fact, for you to do a PhD, you have to write your proposal letter to tell your professors before they even admit you why you want to do a doctorate. And they sent me back. I think I did that particular exercise about 10 times, because the only reason I was going to do a doctorate was to prove to people that Iyadunni is more than what you see, and that I actually have a brain. Maybe I didn't show you that brain while I was in primary school, secondary school, university. Maybe I didn't show you all of that, but I can prove to you. I also wanted to be authority over the kinds of things that I firmly believe in. And I think that if you go to my Queen's College alumni and you say to them, oh, Iyadunni is a doctor, they'll be like, it's a lie. It's not possible. But again, you see, those for me were defining moments. I realized I have something, and I'm saying, this something that I have, how do I make it work? How can I make it impactful? How can this be something that helps others, but invariably now position me as who I really am, a leader, So I would say that that's one thing that's one defining moment that made me realize that, you know what, I'm definitely ready to lead. Now, my second defining moment for me was my passion for showing off Africa and Nigeria to the world. I'm very, very Afrocentric. Well, and for many reasons. First of all, I only own one passport. It's green. It's Nigerian. I have been to very vast number of countries around the world. Nigeria still seems to me like the only home that I want to claim. So if today you gave me an American passport, I will still hold my Nigerian passport above the American passport and tell you, you know what, I'm proudly Nigerian. It's not because Nigeria is the best country in the world, even though it is in my head. Many people can argue with me and tell me that you must be crazy to think so. But it is my country. So I don't know if you guys have heard this proverb. It's very rash, but it's monkey no fine in mama like him. I don't know if you heard it, but there you go. You know, my country doesn't have to be the best in your eyes, but in my eyes, it is the best and the only country that exists. So my passion and one of the biggest problems that my country has is, as beautiful and as perfect as my country is, in its imperfection, because I'm not delusional.
Yeah.
In its imperfection, we do not tell the right stories about Nigeria. We as Nigerians always project the worst of Nigeria to the world. And that is the reason why globally, I mean, imagine over 250 million Nigerians telling only the positive stories of Nigeria. 250 million people, right, in the grand scheme of the world population is a substantial amount of people. And if all of us are telling positive stories, stories are what moves countries, cities, destinations, nations. But if you don't tell the right stories, then so I made a decision many years ago that Africa is my continent, Nigeria is my country, where I was born, where I was raised, where I have succeeded. And so I'm now in the position, I have attained the highest academic qualification. I have slaved for 23 plus years, you know, to slave for companies. I'm an entrepreneur as well. I'm hiring and paying over 100 staff on a monthly basis. You know, so I've seen all the world, and in my mind, I've made a decision that, you see, this story about Africa requires African leaders to tell it. And unfortunately, you don't have a lot of African leaders that have the selfless desire to sell Africa positively. Because if you did, it is in what you do and what you don't do that puts you in that leadership space where you're ready to tell that African story. Well, I'm ready. And I've been telling it for many years, and I will not stop telling that story. And this is how I know that I'm ready to leave. So that, for me, you know, that point where I see Nigeria and Africa, and I have passion for my country and my continent, that for me was a defining moment in leadership. I want to be at the forefront of telling the positive stories of Nigeria. And where those stories exist or don't exist, I want to create those positive stories. And that's why I do what I do where I am right now. And that's why I do what I do where I'm in my private life. And that's why I do what I do. When you see me, you can smell Africa. I have to represent Africa. So it's that leadership that has taken me, is that readiness to lead and tell a positive story about Nigeria and Africa to the world that has got me ready, you know, and in the place where, you know, I'm ready to lead in that front.
That's amazing.
I would say that many times, leading difficult negotiations and having my team cheer me on is also a very defining moment. For whatever reason, because I work in sales and my job and my role is very target driven, and I find that even the most unrealistic targets, just tell me I cannot do it. and you'll see me right there asking you, why do you think I can't do it? Give me one night and I will write 10,001 things that I need to do to ensure that I meet that target. And I would very quickly start to execute those 10,001 things that I've written down. And before you know it, I go there afraid, I go there blind, and I can give you many different instances. And I'll share one very, very recently. The ownership and the management, we do this tropical Christmas Wonderland family holiday experience where we sell Africa to the world and where we invite people to come and experience, package holiday for families at Eco Hotels. And one of the critical things in there is we look for sponsorship to be able to deliver this experience. So Zenith Bank, one of the most amazing banks, if you ask me, in all of Africa, have been very, very magnanimous to support us in the last 2-3 years. And last year, the management of Zenith Bank changed. So all the MDs of Zenith Bank that I've known in the past have been male. And there's now a new female MD who is, when I heard that she was coming on, I was thinking, oh my God, that means I'm not going to get this deal anymore. That, what am I going to do? How am I going to, and I need these people's money. I need their support. I need a collaboration with Zenith Bank on Christmas with Eco Hotel. It's going to be powerful. It will tell a very powerful story about Eco Hotel, about Lagos and the possibilities that Lagos offers to the world, and about Africa, about Nigeria. And if I lose them, that's going to be a big problem. Do you know, I don't know this woman from anywhere, but when the day that I heard that she was going to be the new MD, I dusted my contact database and I started looking. Who are the people I know that know this woman? There's no way this woman is going to sleep if I'm not in her dreams. That's the kind of entering her that I needed to. And I tried everything possible. I was talking to people. Then I started researching her. Oh my goodness, she has a PhD. Oh, she's such a clever woman. She's beautiful. She has a personality. She's, And in my mind, I was thinking, if everybody that I know start telling this woman, there's a lady that you need to meet. This lady is going to see me on her level. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Now, move away from that. If I myself, she's a doctor. Can you imagine if I didn't have doctorate degree at that time? In what capacity will I be speaking to a doctor MD if I didn't have capacity? So I said to myself, you know what? This woman has just started her role as MD of Zenith Bank. I'm going to write her a letter every week. I would write her a letter on my personal letterheaded paper. I would introduce myself and I would send her a bouquet of flowers. I think if by the time her office is full of flowers and all coming from this same person, she's going to want to know, who is this person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Believe you me when I tell you, I didn't stop sending letters and flowers. And one day I got a letter from her on her letterheaded paper, and it read, "Dear Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo, since I've resumed, I have received flowers from you. I just want to acknowledge that I think my flowers frustrated her so much. And when she wasn't going to grow a garden, she realized that she better reply me, otherwise these flowers won't stop coming." And that was an attention. I got her attention right there. Right there. So in going back to now have a presentation with them, I went with my team and they were there. You can do it, ma. You can do it, ma. All of us were there praying and fasting. We have to get this money. I'm talking about serious money, so I don't want to tell you how much publicly because this is a public forum, but some serious money. And here we are, voila. They're not just sponsors, they're going 10 steps ahead to partner and also make this a beautiful event for everybody who's going to come and attend it. And there goes the story. So my team cheering me on because they believe I can do it. Actually, what choice do they have? If they don't believe in me, that means they're not getting anything. So we have to believe, whether it's blindly or not, in each other. We have to support each other. And when we were going to that meeting, you don't even want to know the powerhouse I went with. I remember my EA Annabelle. She had her heels on. I had my heels on. We went in there. I think my perfume would have clouded the whole Zenith Bank building. That in itself, I mean, it's those little small things. And when we entered, we sat in that boardroom. It was like, who are these people? Who are these people? In fact, I changed the amount of money I was going to ask for when I got there because of the amount of effort that we already put. And guess what? We got the deal.
Got it.
Intentionality. Lastly, just sharing defining moments that made me realize that I was ready to lead others. Let me tell you something very special about believing in yourself. When there are things that look difficult to achieve, and you tell yourself that I will achieve this thing. I'm not saying believe blindly in your stupidity, because if you keep telling yourself, I can achieve this, and you're not doing anything towards what are the steps you're taking to achieve it, belief is usually the first thing you need to do to get through anything else. And fear is your greatest enemy. When you put fear before your belief in yourself, there's no way you're going to achieve anything. So I would round up this particular question by telling you that many times leading difficult negotiations and having my team cheer me on, I've come to realize is a big deal for me. And it is what really, truly bridges that gap between whether I succeed at that or not. At a performance review meeting, one of my ex-bosses, Peter Bogovich, had said to me in a town hall, Iyadunni, one of the things I admire the most about you is that you don't just hit your target, you make others hit theirs as well. And I said to him, the reason I do that is if I hit my target alone and my team individually don't hit their target, I have not really hit a target. So the defining moment really is let them hit their target, because that way they're not, you don't really see them. I see them.
Yeah.
Once they've hit their targets, it looks like I've super exceeded my targets. So if you're leading by yourself and the people that you're leading, you don't carry them along and they don't have the same, vision, mission, and desire to excel, then that's a recipe for failure. I can tell you that for free.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, the major takeout for me was you mentioning how your team cheers you on, and which is very, very important. Getting feedback from your downline is also very key and can drive you forward. Just so for everyone joining, thanks for joining, and the new or the later participants that joined in before we had started. Dr. Iyadunni has been taking us through her life, sharing her experience on the sales journey as a leader as well. Please, if you have questions, feel free to drop it in the chat session. Sorry, I can see some persons are already dropping their questions. You can drop your questions on the chat box. We'll come to that towards the end of the session while we're speaking with Dr. Iyadunni. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so in sequel to what you said concerning how you were driven by several factors that you had shared earlier, what do you think? I mean, because every one of us hits those landmarks. I know personally, I have. When you get to a point where you start doubting, probably there's so much resistance, and you're like, oh, can I really do this? Should I really be in sales? Maybe I should go somewhere else. When you start having self-doubts, because I know definitely everyone faces that phase of their life. So what do you do what do you advise in such instances?
Even for the best of us, fear of failing, whether it's publicly or privately, the fear of not being enough, the fear of, balancing your relationship versus authority, all of these fears are real. They're very real. Again, I shared what my background with you guys is. My background is in theater. So for me, I have a very natural, when something scares me, I'm going right into it to conquer that fear. What is it? Even as a child, I used to be scared of the dark. And one day, in order to break that fear, I said, you know what? if the darkness was a demon and it was a human being, maybe I can talk to this demon and say, you know what? Why do you scare me so much? What is it about you that frightens me so much? Let's have a conversation. Let Mr. Fear talk to me. So I locked myself in a room in the dark, and what happened was Mr. Fear never came. Mr. Fear became me. I was Mr. Fear. I was creating this character called fear. Your mind is a very powerful tool, and fear is a demon that you want to make when you want to make it, and you want to break when you want to break it. So in all of this, that is all part of the script. It's very okay to be afraid. It's very okay to be scared. But I can tell you for free that my studying theater and performing arts got me in places where I had to face my fears. Acting on stage, for instance, is different from acting in a movie. You have your camera, light, action, and you can cut and you can start again. And my training was on stage, and you have one chance to prove yourself. If you don't do that in that one time, then everything will creep up. Doubt will creep up. Fear will creep up. Anxiety, you start sweating, you start palpitating. But when you look at that thing, sometimes, in fact, in a lot of research, one of the things that I think helps you conquer fear is relaxing, breathing exercises, and absolute quiet and peace. When you master these different small acts, right, you understand that fear is something that your mind creates for you to stop you from achieving what you really want to achieve. Secondly, there are three things that help you prepare on a more from a more scientific point of view, right? If you are prepared before you get into anything, fear runs away. Whether it's selling or whatever, and if you best be prepared. I mean, again, for me, I have a very weird thing where I'm constantly speaking at engagements now, and I'm really choosing very wisely which one I want to speak at or engage in. But I find that I would have prepared a lot for all of the things I want to say. For instance, I had 10 pages on this fireside chat on sales and leadership, and I haven't even been able to look at one of them. I've read everything, but I'm not even able to talk through what I've put down. But I find that what preparation does for you is it helps you eliminate the spirit of fear, because you're a little more confident in yourself that I've thought about this thing. I've thought about the possible questions I'll be asked. I've thought about the amount of people that would be there. I mean, I'm having a conversation with all of you now. I can't really see all of you. I'm not on this Zoom chat. I'm not, my screen is not showing me all of you's faces for the people whose faces are here, because as far as I'm concerned, you don't exist. You're asking me questions and I'm answering you. So even if you're 1,000,001 here, I don't see you. And that's my mechanism for, sort of
getting through with it.
Getting through with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, leaning on mentorship is very critical when you're trying to move past fear, and doubts. When you have mentors who are honest, who have no holds barred, they're not there to tell you everything. They're not ass licking you. They're there to tell you all the things that you want to hear. They're telling you truth. And they're telling you, you know what, Iyadunni, your cheeks are a little too rosy. Can you tone down on it? And the weird thing is, a lot of us don't like those kinds of mentors. We like the mentors that say, oh, you're so brilliant, you're so good, even though you're the dumbest thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? They will just sugar-coated sycophancy. If you are intentional about having mentors that help you, that tell you truth and help you grow. For instance, my biggest mentor and my biggest cheerleader are my mothers. I have three of them. I have a biological mother and I have two mothers who are there, who are my mother's sisters. These are women I grew up with, extremely powerful women, none of them is a doctor. My sister and I, one of my sisters and I are the first doctors in our family. We're not that academically whatever, So, but again, We wanted to break that jinx, and we wanted to be the ones at the generation that produced doctors and, professors in our family, and we did it, But I'm saying that with those kinds of mentors, who my mother would be the first person to tell you, you know what, she doesn't, there's no diplomacy at all about what she does. Now, growing up, I always I didn't like that because I thought it was constantly slandering me. I have my immediate younger sister is very, very academic, and she's a straight A student. She very quickly, as soon as we finished secondary university, she went to Lagos Business School and did her master's. I only did my master's recently. I mean, in the last 5 years, but again, you have those kinds of mentors that where your younger sister gets a master's degree before you, that in itself is the mentorship that you need, and I'm like, you know what, why is my younger sister with it now? I've gotten a PhD, and she's thinking about it and saying, you know what, do I want to, especially because she saw me go through it, she's really contemplating whether or not she wants to do it. But she was my biggest mentor and inspiration to get a master's degree. Again, if you surround yourself with people who will tell you, speak truth to what you really need to fix about yourself, then I think that you're on the right path to eliminating your fears and your doubts, because these are the people who will tell you, for instance, if you have let me give you a small example. I saw very recently on social media, I don't know which one it was, a lady who they call the ugliest woman in the world, and this woman is constantly posting herself. She's smiling, she's cheesy, and I started, you see, I love this woman so much. I was reading about her, and I was looking at all her posts, and I'm thinking, this is my kind of woman. I mean, she doesn't, when you see her facially, you're thinking, oh my God, why does this woman look like this? But she is so confident in her look that you are the one that has the problem that is seeing an ugly woman. This woman does not see any. See, she has conquered that fear of what you think about her. She has gone past you. It's like having fighting with somebody, and you are you're fighting with the person, and you are the one sweating, and you are getting angry. The person is not fighting with you. And what the kind of thing that envy does in somebody's life. You are the one, you're killing yourself. You hate somebody so much, you can't go past the hate for this person. You can't forgive them. You are the one who's holding a burden. So you have to look past that doubt and that, you need to stop bringing yourself down, and see yourself as a lot more, get into the character of the person you want to be, and start seeing yourself as that person of the future, even now. And you will get into her character much quicker if you do that. Now, the last thing there would be courage. Realizing that fear is proof you're about to do something bigger is courage. You need that courage. And I don't know whether, some of us, acquire courage in different ways. I'm the only courage that I need. I just need to tell myself, you know what, Iyadunni? I mean, I came into the sales profession in hospitality, not knowing anything about the hospitality industry. It was a male-dominated, space, and only experts really rise to the position of director of sales and marketing. Predominantly in our industry, and I was hell-bent that I was going to conquer all of that. I made sure that I was courageous enough to break every ceiling that came in my way. And how did I break it? I didn't see the problem. It's established that, yes, these are all the things that will stand in my way. And like I like to say, I put my high heel shoes on and I walk over every problem as if they are beneath me. It's a thing of the mind. Work your mind in a way that helps you be in control of the fears and the things that stand, the fears and the doubts that stand in your way. I did start as a top performing salesman, and that was not because I had a special skill. It was out of hunger to prove myself. Chasing targets and closing deals and all of those kinds of things were fears that when I put them in front of me, I say, okay, this is the problem. This is what I need to achieve. When fear comes in front of all of that, I cannot achieve those things. So I have to take fear, I put it at the back burner, and I go for exactly what I'm trying to achieve. And that way, fear is waiting for me to get to the point where something again scares me, like a no for an answer. I go and I'm trying to strike a deal and somebody tells me no. How is no? Don't come back here. That's not what no means. For
True.
me, when you tell me no, what I understand is come back again to me
Yeah.
with a better package. Come back
Mm,
again to me with something that you cannot refuse. And I
mm,
will keep trying until I get what I want. So there you
mm.
go. Fear is
That's
behind,
amazing.
and achieving my aim and my objective is right in front of me. But at some point, I realized that if sales are like scoring goals in a football match, leadership is like becoming the coach. You understand? You stop celebrating your own goals and you start shaping all of those strategies so that everyone on your team too can
And
score.
replicate. Yeah.
That way, fear also very quickly goes, fear and doubts go back in the corner. Imagine being a leader and you're leading a team of 20 people and you are afraid of going to go and close a deal because fear is above everything. Oh, everybody who has tried to go and conquer that deal has failed. Do you know that your entire team would lose trust in you? So for
Yeah.
me, if I don't want to fail my team, fear has to go somewhere. I have to find somewhere to put it. And once you understand how to conquer that fear, realizing that fear is not a human being that's designed by God to stop you, it is something that you have capacity to put in front of you or take
Yeah.
right behind you. Then
Yeah.
you would win. And
And
I realized that I wasn't just hitting my targets, I was helping others hit theirs. And for me, that's where leadership found me. Of course, there
mm,
will always be fears. Fear for failing publicly, fear for not being enough. I mean, forget about sales, forget about your careers, even in marriage, even in
mm,
relationships. There's always going to be fear of the unknown. Where
yeah.
you don't know where this can lead.
Mm,
Anxiety will come in and fear will come in. And all of these things. Even fear of balancing authority with relationships. I remember when I first started in sales, I felt the same. And fear is it simply means you're standing at the door of your own growth.
mm,
So
yeah.
as I often remind myself, great salespeople sell products, but great leaders, they sell a belief. And if you believe that fear is not something that has power over you, it will run away from you like a bad spirit. I'm telling you, it's like a reawakening. It would run away
Mm.
from you.
Oh, interesting. I like you started off with first of all, understanding your mind and how powerful that is. Just a
Mm,
recap of what you shared, and then also knowing that you need the right tools, right? You need mentors, you need the right people, the right energy around you, and then also walking and putting yourself in that space, not to be resisted every now and then, seeing it with
yes.
a different mindset. I mean, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Iyadunni. Please, for everyone, all the participants on this call, you can ask your questions directly to Dr. Iyadunni on the chat box, and we are also going to give opportunities for anyone who is interested in speaking and asking their questions directly. You can unmute and ask your questions. So, I mean, from what you said, considering that you had to scale through several hurdles, what would you say from your experience would every saleswoman need, right, to be able to be that powerhouse like yourself? I mean, there are certain factors that came into play, right? What are those skills, the factors that one can see and identify that, oh, this and this and this and this, based off on what I've learned from this call, can help me to become a better salesperson?
Um, I mean, you say powerhouse. The first thing I'll say is power and influence. You're answering the questions already for me. So yeah, I think first of all, power and influence. For you to
Mm,
be a saleswoman who's leading, I think you cannot lead without power, and power you cannot gain power if you don't have influence. So for me, that's number one.
okay.
I would also say that you need a lot of emotional intelligence. You need to be able to read a room. You need to be able to read people. You need to be able to read situations. You need to be able to emotionally connect. And those are tools that, again, you cannot do it all in this one fireside chat. But I'm sure that Nwamaka and the team already have some things planned where we take these different points individually, and we're helping our community of women understand how we can flesh each one out, to the latter, break it down and use real practical examples of what we see when we go out to sell. I like the idea of telling me, give me a problem, a sales problem, and I'll tell you how I'll solve it. This I do very well. And if we had a lot of time or more time, I'm sure we can flesh them out, piecemeal. But power and influence is very critical. I would say emotional intelligence, like I just explained. You need a lot of resilience and adaptability, because you will get a lot of no's. You will face a lot of shocks. You will get a lot of, let me tell you, when I'm going to chase a deal, I don't look at a deal superficially, because you cannot afford to. I would look at every angle of that deal. I would do my due diligence on every aspect of it, even the ones that are potentially my enemies of progress in getting those deals. I will deal with each and every atom of them before I go and chase that deal, so that I'm well prepared. I understand that these are the things that can potentially block me from achieving these things. And I deal with all those things even before. So your resilience and adaptability, bouncing back, because what often happens with salespeople, especially leaders, who are or people who are aspiring to be leaders in sales, is that once they get a no, that's it. You've killed them. As soon as you reject them, and the first time that, and there are people in this world who have the perfect art. They've refined the art of saying no. You come to give you an instance, you come for an interview, and the person that's interviewing you asks you questions. Even I do it. It's a strategy that I do to get people unbalanced. I don't want you to be too comfortable. I want to distract you with 10 different questions. For instance, I'm asking you, oh, why do you want this job? And before you even start telling me or before you finish the response about why do you want this job, I'm saying, and if I give you this job, what do you do? And before you even start answering that, actually, I changed my mind, something else. This is designed just to get you to see what your resilience and your adaptability is, to situations. Because if you're not prepared for something like that, how can you be an excellent salesman? How? You're going to go out to the world, you're going to meet different kinds of people, the people who are frustrated and angry in themselves, whose automatic response to anything you say to them is no, are part of the people that you're going to meet. And what happens if 90% of the people you go to tell you no, does that mean that you're a failure? No. It means that you have to be resilient enough and adaptable enough to develop strategies to go back to that place and become everything and gain everything that you want out of that transaction. I'll give you another live example, because if I don't give you examples, this is going to be a very theoretical thing. I like to deal with practical, on-the-job experiences. Shell, and I would go as far as even mentioning names. Shell is one of my biggest clients, right? And at Shell, the person who was responsible for giving us business or not was somebody who has a reputation of being very stern and very, very tough woman. She's half Yoruba and half I think whether it's Russian or German. She has very strong genes anyway. She's a no-nonsense person. When you see her, to even talk to her, you will fear yourself. And I've heard a lot about her. And you know what I started doing? I started looking for all the people who think that this woman is nice and kind. There were not many of them, but I realized that the people who didn't think her sweet were people who didn't understand her. So when you have enough emotional intelligence, you will understand the persona and the personality of the person that you're trying to strike a deal with, and you would understand how to break that person. Once you understand how to break that person, selling becomes easy. And that's a quality that every sales leader needs. Now, The third thing I would say is also, is your ability to strategically tell stories, selling your ideas, not just your product. When we started this conversation, I shared a few of my experiences with my background with theater, and a lot of people find it very intriguing. Oh my goodness, she studied theater. What is she doing here? I mean, and I say this all the time because there's 1,000,001 people who think that being a doctor and a lawyer and an oil and gas expert is the highest thing that you can do in your life. I kid you not, you're joking. Being a saleswoman is the most important career you can ever pursue, because guess what? I'm a saleswoman and I can sell anything. Put me in oil and gas, I will sell oil as if it was lipstick. Put me in a pure water manufacturing industry and you will buy my pure water like you will buy the next pure water. But by the time I tell you the story of my pure water, you will think that once you drink that water is the passport, the only line you have to get into heaven, because I will sell that pure water to you as a lifesaver. There you go. And that's what sets me apart from every other saleswoman. I understand that it is a buyer's market and all of us can be selling the same thing. Let me give you an instance, even in my industry, in the hospitality industry. People come to me all the time and talk about, oh, but there's competition. I say there's not enough competition. Build more hotels, please.
Yeah.
You know why? I don't even see the competition. The market is big enough. All of us will thrive. And guess what? In that market, only a few people will lead. Eco Hotel, where we are at Eco Hotels, you are the one that sees a hotel. You think that I'm selling rooms. I'm not selling rooms only. I'm not selling food and beverage only. Those were the things I started out selling. You know what I'm selling right now? I'm selling experiences. So when you come to a hotel, I may not be the best. I may not have all this gold chandelier that all these other new hotels are just springing up and building, beautiful light chandeliers. It's good because there are people who are looking for the glitz and glamour. But what I've given to you is 4 hotels within one, that if you have a market where you're looking for glitz and glamour, go to Echo Signature. If you're looking for cheap and cheerful, go to Echo Gardens. If you're looking for quiet and prestige, go to Echo Suites. If you're looking for the hustle and bustle, the place that everybody will see you, you want to wear your bikini and go from your room to the poolside and walk around and everybody Instagrams you, stay in the main hotel. So I've provided a product in one property that everybody in the entire market is individually trying to sell you one at a time. So guess what? I don't see competition. You don't have to like me to come to me. You will come to me because of the value that I offer to you. And there you go. Now, once you have now come to me, it is now my responsibility to keep you here. And all the other magic happens. I'm not going to give you everything.
Thanks for sharing. So, I mean, this is like 4 points you mentioned, Dr. Iyadunni. You mentioned the resilience. Oh, first of all,
I mentioned power and influence.
Power and influence.
I mentioned emotional intelligence. I mentioned resilience and adaptability.
Storytelling.
Strategic storytelling. Because from that storytelling point of view, let me just give you, for instance, a power. One of the powerful reasons why storytelling strategically is important. Imagine Nigeria. Again, if 250 million people stop telling the world about Yahoo boys and politicians that are not doing us any good and bad governance, and they start telling stories of people like me, people like Okonjo-Iweala, people like the international playwright Chimamanda, people like Wole Soyinka. If the story the world hears about Nigerians is not just Yahoo, and you start telling stories of you and I, us, we queens of sales, we that we're doing excellent in our careers. Do you know what? The story that the world will run with will become a positive story. So you have to be strategic about the kind of stories that you tell. If you look at what countries are doing now, for instance, Malaysia, they have campaigns where they're doing Malaysia, truly Asia, stuff. You put it in your head, a country is intentional and strategic about the story they want you to tell. in a campaign for Malaysia Truly Asia, I'm going away with, if I go to Malaysia, I will see all of Asia in one country, isn't it? But that's because they're intentional and they're strategic about telling the story. Now, the last thing I also mentioned was a coaching mindset, that even before leadership, practice lifting others is part of the leadership skill that I believe that every saleswoman should develop very early in their careers if they want to succeed.
Wow, that's really great. That is really great. And of course, with technology increasing and advancing, which one of the skills do you think is timeless in your own perspective, that can span through age and time? Anyone can use it regardless of technology, because we know technology is affecting so many aspects of our careers in different fields and sectors.
Well, I mean, I think everything is timeless, but I would take some points out of those, maybe 4 or 5 points that I noted to narrow down on what I think, quality leadership skills that remain timeless, no matter where technology or tools take you to. Integrity is very key. Trust is the ultimate currency in sales. So if you're not a trustworthy person, if people cannot say, you know what, everything that comes out of this woman, take it to the bank, then, I mean, that's something that, let technology come and go. Bring robots in hospitality, in aviation, in oil and gas. Bring all the robots. People don't believe robots, do they? They don't. Robots and machine and technology and all these things are things that human beings have to work with, right? But your integrity remains something that is timeless. Your vision, the ability to see opportunity before others do, is timeless. Influence, rallying people around a particular goal, is timeless. And discipline and consistency, you have to be consistent. In recent times, I have seen, CVs of salespeople, and I'm very, very worried about this, because you see in a CV, somebody only has a 5-year working career, and in 5 years they've worked for 7 companies. I mean, how are you consistent? Your consistency is the only thing that people will hold you to and say, you know what, this person has been doing this thing for so long. I mean, I've been working in a hotel for 15 years. I didn't start out working and planning to work anywhere for 15 years. But in my career here, I've seen so many potentials and opportunities, and I've seen so many things that would make me grow and make me a better person, that I'm thinking to myself, let me stick to this industry for a while, so that by the time I'm leaving this industry, I'm where I am today. I have learned, I have grown, and I have become a force to reckon with. Because everything I say to you now is authority. Take it to the bank. And people know me for that. So discipline and consistency is another thing that remains timeless, no matter what technology does, whether it comes or goes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's been a whole lot. I would like for you to share, you can share like your key take-on points with us before we go into our Q&A session. I know some persons are boiling with, questions in their hearts concerning sales and all. So do you mind sharing, Dr. Iyadunni, what you would want everyone to take out from this meeting generally before we go into the Q&A?
Okay. Well, like I said when we started, 2 days ago, I was just thinking again about this particular session, and power and influence just came top of my mind, and it's so pregnant. It's so pregnant that for me, I think it's definitely something you want to take away from here. Power is key to professional and personal success. Whether you use power for evil or good, it is very critical. Once you have power, you have influence. And once you have influence, things will go the exact way that you want it. So in leadership, influence and power make things happen. And it's your ability to make things come out the exact way that you want it to have. You need to have a key set of behaviors that we have mentioned, in our previous conversations here. In a sales leadership job, you need to ensure that you're either the one in that role that has power or authority, or you work very closely with the people who have power, position, and authority so that you can learn. Spend less time with those who are taking you nowhere, because a lot of salespeople waste time with irrelevant, inconsequential people. If you're going to go out at night and go and waste your time and make up and dress up, whether it's a club or a party, or make sure that it's a club and a party that has influential people and powerful people, because your circle determines how quickly you rise to the position of leadership. So it's critical. When they say moving with the Joneses, while that's not a very apt way, because I don't want you to move with the Joneses. I'm not talking about social climbing. I'm talking about your network having powerful people. The way I look at sales and leadership, I look at every industry, and I look at in the oil and gas sector. If there are 50 oil companies, Iyadunni has to know the MD CEO of at least 25 of them on a personal level. And if I do that, there's nothing I want in oil and gas from the 50 companies that I would not get. Because guess what? That network of people in the oil and gas is one network, and they know each other. So if I know the MD of Total, the MD of Shell is my friend, because through the MD of Total, I can get access to the MD of Shell. If I'm going to go out at night, and it is not an outing that has benefit for me, to connect with like minds, with top industry leaders, with thought-provoking, captains of industry, then I'm not interested in taking that and in going on that journey. I want to surround myself with people. And on a social level, LinkedIn has done very good for me in that regard, because before LinkedIn, I was not on any social media. I'm still not on any social media platform apart from LinkedIn. But I find that with LinkedIn, there's a certain caliber and quality of people that I can resonate with, that are in my minds, in the same mindset as me, that I can waste a lot of my time there, because I'm talking to people that I can be of value to, and people that can be of value to me. Now, in summary as well, hard work does not all the time get you where you want to get to in leadership. It's not all about hard work. So that network of people will get you there faster than the amount of hard work that you put into anything. So understand prioritizing those things. It's important to know that there are tricks to the trade. And in understanding the tricks to the trade, you're in a better place and in a faster place of becoming a leader in sales in any industry. Understanding that it's okay to change what you know now, not necessarily who you are, but what you know. It's important that you understand that's critical. Your versatility and your ability to adapt and be open to change is always great. You have to develop your personal power map. Who are the people I need to know in government? Who are the people I need to know in the financial sector? Who are the people? And ensure that while you're doing your day-to-day activity, you're in the network of those people. They know you and you know them. And if they know you, let them know you for things that make them feel like you and them are on the same level. I always say to people, I may not have money. I may not be a rich woman. I was not born with the silver spoon. I didn't grow up with in an endlessly rich family. But you see where I am today, I move with rich people, and only rich people. And in my circle of rich people, I'm talking about for the career that I pursue, and the line that I pursue now. If you are not in that space, what are we saying? What is a and rich and poor is a relative term, by the way. Yeah, rich and poor is a relative term. Me, who is not a rich woman, I'm telling you, I don't move with poor people, but I'm not a rich woman either. So what has happened to me is that I feel rich, even though I may not be rich. And if I'm not rich, I'm wealthy. I have the wealth of many things, and that in itself makes me rich. So I'm associating with only rich people. So I don't want you to take this from, or see this as, an arrogant, but actually, what's wrong with being arrogant? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You're a saleswoman. Um, what else can I say to, you know what? Manage up. You're responsible for your own promotions. You're responsible for how you grow. Flattery is a very, very excellent tool to use, and you should always have to use it when you're going to, as a leader in sales. If you're going to conquer any territory, understand that people love to be flattered. They love to be flattered. So I walk into a room and I'm looking for what do I like about this space? What do I like about these people? And before I even start talking to you, I'm telling you those things. I'm telling you those things that I like about you, so that you get a little comfortable with me. Oh, she likes me. Oh, she likes this. Oh, she's it's always good. I mean, everybody needs somebody to say, oh, I like you. You look, we all need that boost. Now, as soon as you say that, you've gotten your let's call them victims for the purpose of this conversation. You've gotten your victim already on your side, because you've given a nice comment about this person already. So you know what? She already feels like he or she already feels like, oh, we're working. So people love to be flattered. Use it. It's an important tool. Listen, my dear sisters, whether you're just starting up as a salesman, or whether you're already in leadership or in the eye of leadership, remember this: our profession is not just about closing deals. It's about opening doors for yourself, for your team, and most importantly, for the next generation of women in leadership and sales that are coming after you. The future of sales is very female. It is very female, and it is fearless, and it is now. There's a lot of people going about it the wrong way, and it is important for you to be able to be separated from, you know how you take chaff and wheat and you just mix everything together. There's a lot of illusion of quality around. This is why, for instance, my doctorate, I take it very personal when you don't call me Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo. I worked very hard for it. So better come, and it wasn't honorary. I sweat, blood, and tears. So when you don't call me that, so when you call me Dr. Iyadunni and I'm seated next to somebody who got an honorary degree, I take it, I don't even want to sit next to you, because we're not cut from the same cloth. You understand? And be very, very okay with keeping yourself at a level that you don't want to go below. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't wait for people to be the ones to prop you. Nobody's going to prop you. Everybody's trying to, it's a red ocean. Everybody's trying to shine. And imagine in a movie, there's only one actor that the main actor will never die. No matter what happens, he will hustle. Everything will happen to him. He will have many near deaths, but he doesn't die. That's you. That's you right there as a leader in sales. So you have to always think about that you always have to bounce back, and your bouncing back is getting you tougher, but better at perfecting your art. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember that in our profession, like I said, we're not closing deals, we're opening new doors for ourselves, for our teams, for everyone, and the future of sales, I said again, is very female, it's fearless, and it's now. As queens in sales, for us, leadership should not be a title. It should be an influence, where you're asking people now, what do you want to be? I want to be an influencer. I want to be an influencer. Stories. Who is an influencer? If you're an influencer without power is not in the number of people that are following you on Instagram. If 101 nuisances are following you, you are powerless. I tell you that for free. If 10 important, influential, powerful people are following you, it's more valuable to you than 100 million followers that cannot even feed themselves. So understand how to separate the chaff from the wheat and look for quality over quantity. Okay? Also, like I said, it's not a title. So wherever you stand today, lead loudly, sell boldly, and rise unapologetically. Numbers may measure sales, but your legacy measures your leadership. Okay? And I think just in summary, those are things that just sort of come to mind. In rounding up this conversation, I'm very happy to take questions or,
of course.
or engage with the audience and see if there's any other way that I can help you shed more light to everything that I've said.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iyadunni, for sharing that. I mean, I can even relate so much to your story, owing to the fact that I'm also an engineer. And
Okay.
yeah, and I had to, jump into the whole sales industry in a tech field. So in a growing, advancing technology field. So I can relate so much to everything you shared. Thank you for that. I have a question here. So we're moving quickly to the Q&A because this is 5:35 already, and we quickly want to round this up. If you have any questions, you can raise your hands. If you feel more comfortable speaking, you can raise your hands or you can drop it on the chat. I'm starting with this question from, I'm finding it, MM. So MM is asking, sorry, hold on. MM is asking, I have been leading a sales team for years now. I enjoy working behind the scenes, having my team show forth the efforts I put in through their achievements. I believe everyone on the team should shine. I would love to take the leap to that next level. Any inspirations? So
Sorry,
MM, MM is asking, right?
Is MM there? Is MM there? Because her question is not very clear to me. Is MM,
okay, MM, you can
on the call? She can explain exactly what she's trying to ask.
MM, you can unmute if you're still here.
If she's not there, can you just repeat that? Oh,
okay.
Hi.
Good evening,
Hi,
Dr. Iyadunni. Good evening. Hi.
Hi, MM.
Yeah.
Hi, MM. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for an amazing session. I've really, really learned a lot. Thank you so much, Doctor. So, like I said, I've been leading a sales team for years now. This kind of leader that likes to work behind the scenes, I love a situation whereby I let my teams, show forth their, achievements, and I just kind of take the back seats. I believe in a leadership where all your team members should shine. But I know that I'm due to take the next leap to the next level, but there's this thing still holding me back, So I just want to get inspirations, from you. How do I take that leap to the next level, which I know I'm overdue for anyway? Thank you.
I suspect, MM, that maybe the reason why you like your team, putting your team in the forefront and let them shine, and you staying at the back of it, is it might be a personality issue. Maybe you have a personality style that doesn't really like to be in front. Maybe you're shy. But if you have come to the realization now that you're due for that leap, right? I think that yesterday is too late. Today is too late. There is no reason. Look, stars shine, okay? And no matter how dark a space is, if you put a star in a dark place, it is the only thing that would beam and shine. You should be proud enough to show off the fact that you are leading this team so effectively, but you are the leader. You understand? There's no reason why you should be behind the scenes and not taking a front row. There's no reason why. I mean, if it's a personality situation where your personality is just the type that likes to stay behind, then that's all right, because not all of us are meant for the spotlight. Do you see what I'm saying? But you're ready now, because from what you said, you believe that you want to go to the next level. So what's stopping you? Go for it. And you have invested already in putting your team forward anyway. So you have a platform. You have a platform to stand upon because you've invested that way. But everybody has a right to shine, and we can all shine. So you should stop being at the back. As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason. I mean, the front is beautiful, huh? It is beautiful. So please go to the front, Tell them who you are and what you've done. Show off your work, like the people that you have motivated and inspired and moved, and that will put you in a completely different level. People will see you differently. People will consider you differently. I was in that place at some point in my life, and I came to a realization for reasons that, Ruth has asked me in the past in the conversation that I've explained. But when I knew that I was ready, which is where you are now, go for it, my love. Go for it. There's nothing should stop you. Why? Why should everybody else shine and you shouldn't? Why? There's no reason why not. And you are ready for it. You've invested in it, so it's your right. Claim it unapologetically.
That answers your question, and you're comfortable.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to the next question. I want to say I want to say big thank you, Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo. You said something earlier, and I have a lot of persons say that men are easier to work with. Why did you think that, Ma? Because I believe you must have had some experiences with both genders. And also, how can we as women bridge that gap in whatever capacity that we are? I don't know. Yeah.
Who asked this question so I can speak?
So the person used Godwin's link to join, so I
Okay.
don't
Well,
have.
whoever you are,
Okay.
whoever you are, I love your question, and I'll be very honest with my response. We're interesting characters, women, and I think that men are wired more practically than we are. We're very emotional beings, and that's why people misconstrue that women don't have capacity to lead, just because of our emotional nature. In my personal experience, men just deal with stuff. There's no sentiments to things, because as women, we're very emotional and very sentimental about things. And, we have an almost automatic, either I love you and admire you, or I envy you and I hate you for it because I'm not you.
Yeah.
World, with women, it's difficult. You see competition a lot more fierce with women. You see, and it's women that talk most about supporting other women. But
Yeah.
the understanding of support is coming to an event and dressing from top to bottom, looking at the best, like gold from top to bottom, and putting other women under pressure. But you see, if as a woman, when I show up good, right? And other women are envious and jealous of me, that's on them. And this is what I realized. That's on them. I didn't find this with men. With men, I mean, it's only when you are smarter than a man that you can find a bit of shoulder rubbing with men. Other than that, they're very practical beings. Let's get the job done. And if you're very good, the man is one that be shouting, "Oh, Dr. Iyadunni, oh, she's brilliant. She's this." Before you find a woman accept that a subordinate of her is, and this is something, and that, to be honest with you, is one of the reasons why I really appreciate this community that we have, that we can talk about it very openly and we can start doing things differently. If I admire you, Ruth, I would tell you, you know what, Ruth, I think you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, and it's a compliment. I pass a compliment, simple as that. But I'm also the one that says, if you are ugly, actually, Ruth, you are ugly, go, but I'm not saying it from a place to kill you. It's just my opinion. I mean, am I the one who created you to be the judge of you? But more than what I say or do is Ruth's capacity to move past what I say or do. And that's what's important, because people will judge you. Whether they say it out loud, whether they think it in their mind, whether they say it to other people, we're just judgmental human beings. And this is whether you're a man or a woman. But what is critical here is that it is with women that I see a lot more envy and jealousy for other women than with men. Now, I've explained why I think so. I think it's because we're very emotional beings. Our tolerance to being more appreciative than being more critical or judgmental about people is a much easier flow. But as a woman, you have to make a conscious effort to appreciate other women when you do really appreciate them, because there's also the appreciation in mockery. You are fine, no, but I don't really think you're fine. So we just need to be honest with each other, and where we see a woman that we admire for whatever, let's tell them that we admire you for this. And where we see a woman that is falling short of being admirable, let's speak truth to that, And I would make a very small example, especially in this world today where, a lot of people are just looking superficially at other women and admiring, oh, this one is, if you do not read up about me and go and dig up about me and understand that I did not get to where I got here by sleeping around, you don't know what you're gaining. But there are many women who think that the way to rise and lead is by selling themselves. This is a story for another day, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Now, what is the danger about this is that you have so many younger people who are now looking at you and aspiring to be like you, but they don't know how you got there. They don't really know how you got there. And that's why, as a saleswoman in leadership, you have to be very careful about the kind of women that you look for up to, and you make mentor you. You have to be very critical about that, because you are trying to be like these people, but you don't know their story. You better do your research well before you start admiring people, because people have a lot of dodgy stories. They do.
Sure. And thanks so much for that answer. I hope that answers the question for the person who asked. And for those who joined in later on, we have our community. This is the Queen of Sales. Dr. Iyadunni Gbadebo has been sharing so much from her rich experience. And Queen of Sales is a global movement. Okay, it's not just local in Nigeria. We have our tentacles spread across several countries. And of course, for those who are interested in being part of this community, please take note that our link to join in is on the chat box. So the admin could help repost that again, so it can be on the bottom part of the chat box while I read the questions for Dr. Iyadunni. Okay, so the third question, Doctor always says, don't take no for an answer. Yes, Dr. Iyadunni mentioned that several times. But I would like to ask, when is the right time to move on from a deal-related pursuit, especially when the other party clearly isn't yielding? If the other party is not yielding. Okay, let me go again. When is the right time to move on from a deal-related pursuit, that's pursuing a deal, and the other party is not clearly yielding? Yeah.
Okay, well, I say, I'm glad you started with my conversation about not taking no for an answer. But we also spoke when we were initially talking about the understanding, having the emotional intelligence to know the things that you chase and the things that you're going to lose that are not worth chasing.
Yeah.
If the business is worth chasing, I would say there is no right time to back away from anything. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think that you should get to the point where, you can leave it for a while, let it breathe, let the person go for a bit, focus on something else, because in focusing on something else, you can get a trigger that would help you go back to it. But what is the reason why you let something go that has the potential of yielding? There's no reason. You didn't get it now, does not mean that you can't spend it out, focus on other things for now, and then come back to it. Maybe you're not doing it the right way. Maybe you're not using the right kind of strategies. And that is what is the missing link as to why you're not getting it. But I would spend my lifetime chasing whatever it is I believe in. So my throwback question to you then is, do you believe strong enough in what you're trying to chase? Do you need it hard enough? And if you do, then you would know yourself that you should never give up on it. You can pause over it. You can take some time out to recalibrate, but you should always go back to it, because the act and the skill of going back to it and ultimately winning at it gives you a satisfaction and euphoria as a salesperson that is unquantifiable. Achieving that goal should be the ultimate goal. So keep your eyes on that goal and never leave it. This would be my advice.
Yeah, great. I hope that answers. Hope the person gets the answers they need. I can see Gloria Rube's hands are up. Hand is up, so you can go for it, Gloria. Gloria. Okay.
Oh, all right. Good evening, ma'am. I want to confirm if you can hear me, please.
I can hear you loud and clear, Gloria. How are you?
I'm very well, ma. Good evening, ma. So, thank you very much, Dr. Iyadunni. I've been enjoying this session right from the very onset till now. So, I want to ask a question. I'm currently a member of a student-led organization, the TMD brand, and I'm currently the director for promotions and marketing for the TMD brand. So one of the things that we do in the brand is majorly we are all about the student community, positioning our students for global opportunities and seeing how we can position our students more, get more opportunities for our students, both nationally and international opportunities. But the hospitality, we are young professionals in the hospitality and tourism industry. And the industry is a fast-growing, fast-paced one. So I want to ask, how can we better position ourselves? Because we have our values, we have our principles, we have things that we work by, and we don't just want to create an industry or create an organization like anyone that has ever existed or anyone that wants to be. So we just want to have that extra sauce to everything that we do. And also having it in mind that our vision is still pinned down to the student community. But over time, we will always have competitors, and always have other organizations that want to partner with us. So how do we stay ahead of competitors in this aspect, even though we don't see them? Like the word of Dr. Iyadunni, we don't see any of them, but still we need to properly position ourselves, staying ahead of competitors and knowing the right organization to affiliate ourselves with in order not to dent our values as a student-led organization and serving the student community. So that's my question.
Thank you very much, Gloria, for your question. I think your question is beautiful, but I'll tell you something. Your community is a community that really, really inspires me. I wish that when I was in school, I was brave enough to start up a community, a student-led community in our field like you guys have. So I would firstly like to give you guys kudos for what you're doing. I think very easy. My answer to you would be to say it's very apt in this conversation that we're having. And I'll paint it in a picture to you. If in the role that you are sitting at, you start to produce students who have moved from being students, are now hired in the industry, and you're tracking those students and their progress, especially progress as it regards how they got their jobs, what their interviews were like, how they've now established themselves in the corporate world, how they're growing, and you start to promote and push that. I think that you will now start getting people to see you guys as a catalyst for growing, nurturing, and producing quality sales and marketing professionals. And I think that you need to look at that a little bit. Now, I don't know whether you're still in school or whether most of the people that are in your community are still students. If they are, let's start to gather, put these people in key positions within the industry. Let's track those people's growth, because when people see other students that have moved from being students and are achieving good things, spotlighting them, showing them off, it's a very beautiful leadership quality, right? And you guys will be seen not just as nurturers, you'll be seen as leaders that are producing other leaders. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma.
So I think that's something that you really need to look at.
All right,
and it's something that would help you lip jump very quickly, I already see that you guys have a community of brilliant students. Let's start tracking those students and their growth, and let's start amplifying them, talking about them, and that way your community and your group then starts looking like some powerful catalyst in producing quality students that have moved into the corporate world. I think that's something that's key. I mean, I think you're the one who does the spoken words, isn't it? You're the brilliant lady who does the spoken words, because I've seen you at several forums, doing
Yes, ma.
exactly. So somebody like you should be amplified. So stop staying at the back burner. Come out and let the world see what a star you are.
Oh, thank you so much, ma.
So that you become the mentor that the year ones and the diplomas and the just starting students in your industry, emulate. And if you come out, then they don't have no, actually, was I just gonna say that? Then they don't have funny people. I don't want to call names. They don't have funny people who don't have the right to be mentors, in their forefront, because those funny people, we don't want to talk too much about those people. Those people who haven't earned the right are the people that they're seeing, because those are the people posting on Instagram, and all of us should start coming out so people have more quality mentorship rather than quantity, because empty vessels are making too loud noises. We need to come out.
Yes, ma. We need to come out.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, ma.
Iyadunni.
Thank you very much, ma.
You're most welcome.
Okay, so Favor Sunday, just hold on. Let me take one from the chat and we come to you. So I'll be taking like 3 more questions from this, because this is to 6 now. I want to give it a wrap. Like I said, you can join the community. It's an avenue where you can be mentored. So most of the questions you have on the chat box and even in your heart, you can have them answered. You have access to every member of the team, Dr. Iyadunni also, and as well as other powerful, amazing saleswomen who can mentor you and give you the right guide you need. So this question speaks on to what Dr. Iyadunni had spoken earlier concerning having her team downline relations cheer her on as one of the strategies she uses to keep herself going. So this person is asking for her team members. I mean, well, generically speaking, many team members do not understand that their managers also need motivation. So how do you instill this understanding in them? How do you instill it? From Rebecca.
Can you take that again, please? Because I lost you for a second and I was sort of struggling to hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Many team members, this is from Rebecca Legal. Many team members do not understand that their managers also need motivation. How do you instill this understanding in them as a leader?
Well, you're right in saying that many people don't realize how much motivation and inspiration even their own managers need. But understanding that everybody needs, I think we spoke about this before, where we said, where you had asked me the question about, and I said that I love one of the things that takes me to that next level of leadership is where I see my team cheering me on. The fact that I cannot show, not that I cannot show weakness and inability to achieve, but if I'm the leader and my team does not see the capacity for leadership in me, then they would lose trust and hope in me, right? And so understand that we're all human beings and we all have blood running through our veins. Your fears are real and they are my fears. It's just that I've now developed a strategy to allay my fears and put them behind me. And so, but it doesn't take away the fact that they are still fears and they are still valid and it's okay to have those fears. But if you're as a leader, I think you need to be okay being vulnerable to your subordinates. You need to be okay telling them that failing is not the end of the world, but trying again and consistently trying until you then get what you require is is motivation. And in telling your subordinates that, you are telling yourself as well. Because can you imagine me telling you all of these things and I'm not leaving it? There's no way you'd have invited me to have this fireside chat if I haven't proven to you in the last, at least, I don't know, 20 whatever years of my career, all the things that I've achieved. But it doesn't mean that I didn't achieve those things without pain, without sweat, and without blood. I did. And they're all very valid. But if you have seen that growth and that progress, that trajectory, if you've seen it and you understand it and you've heard from me, you understand that even I sometimes, I think an easier way to say it is, it's very crass, but every leader has a leader. Every Oga has an Oga. You see what I'm saying? Every president has a president that he has read about and admires and looks up to. So we're all humans at the end of the day. As whether you are the one leading or you are the one being led, understand that our fears are same and they're valid. And it is about how we each are okay being vulnerable to each other. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is having the emotional intelligence, which we spoke about before, to know that it's okay when my team cheer me up. And when they cheer me up, is not because I'm not able to cheer myself up, is because they're cheering me up, is motivating me to even exceed their expectations of me as their leader. You understand that?
Yeah.
So I think that's a nice place to situate that response. Knowing that it is your ability to let your people know that you're not a superhuman. Each of us has the grace of God which is upon us. We all have opportunities, and some of us have more opportunities than others. Some of us are born into this gold, but if you even think about it and you research it, the people who have all the opportunities and all the platforms and all that are born into this gold and silver end up being the roughest and the rot of society. And we who struggled to climb up the ladder, to prove ourselves, to show ourselves, are the ones that succeed really. So necessity, need, and hunger are driving factors for succeeding in our industry. And you should be okay being vulnerable, to tell the story of your struggles while you're leading, so that the people that you're leading know that it wasn't all hunky-dory. It's okay to be vulnerable and share that vulnerability with the teams that you're leading, so that when they get to where you are as a leader, they're not lost. They don't think that, oh, this person has a superpower and it's voodoo. I've heard a lot of people say, that's Dr. Gbadebo. If you sit down with her, it's like juju. You will just spend all your money before you. There's no juju. There's no voodoo to it. There's no voodoo at all. You know what it is? I'm hungry enough to let you know that you are not leaving me without me collecting my money. And I will sell you ice to Eskimo and you will pay me that money. And that would be achievement. Life is a stage. Everyone's an actor. We're all playing. We all have a role to play. Make sure that your role is the main actor. You understand? The one that does not die. He doesn't die. They will frustrate him, kill him. He does not die, because we're here to win. And win we will, as salespeople.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Iyadunni. Favor had her hands up earlier. That will be our last question to call it a wrap for this session. Is Favor still on this call?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, please go for it.
My name is Sunday Favor, and I graduated last year from the University of Port Harcourt, where I studied English language. A job as a business development executive in the oil and gas industry, and it's been 1 whole year, and I am still struggling to close one deal. I have access to these decision makers, and then each time I try, it feels like I'm close, but then I don't get there. I even went as far as, okay, going online on LinkedIn to talk about our products, to create more of that awareness. And then 3 months down the line, it just, nothing happened, nothing changed. And then my boss backed out of it. And at this point, I just feel like I'm failing, right? I just feel like giving up, even though I know it's something that I can do, but because I am not getting that results that I want in the space of 1 year, and at this, all I just want, right? I'm willing to put in the work, but then getting somebody to mentor me, getting someone to give me those tasks, those weekly tasks, getting somebody to guide me has proved that bottle. Like getting someone to help me, tell me what to do, tell me, okay, this is how it works, this is how it works. It has not been possible. And that is one of the things that led me to join this group. So I can learn from other people and probably know something that I'm not doing or something that I'm not doing right.
Okay. I can relate very deeply with what you're talking about, but I can also tell that you're a Gen Z, right?
Yes, I am.
You guys don't have patience. You don't have enough patience and tolerance. It 1 year, let me tell you, so let me share an experience. I chased a client for 4 years. 4 years. I worked in at the airport, MMA2 for 6 years, and of that 6 years, I chased one client, Negris, for 4 years. They were a power company. I think they're the servicing company. And I knew that they had a lot of money. I wanted them to advertise at the airport, but it was so difficult. So difficult. Every time I went there, I would stay there for long hours. I would never get to meet the MD. I have another experience to share when I was in theater and I was looking for sponsorship and support for my theater shows. We're trying to take plays out of the University of Lagos into a much nicer stage at the Muson Center, the Ajip Recital Hall at the time. I'm talking 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. It was so frustrating that at every point where I felt like giving up, I realized I've actually spent 2 years. So for me, it was like, since I've gone 2 years, let me try small more. Let me try small more. Let me try small more. And because I was patient enough, and because my eyes were still on that ball, and because those companies still had something that belonged to me, my money, and my desire to collect my money, the amount of years that I spent chasing it was inconsequential to the success of me getting that deal done. So, time is your biggest friend, and time is your biggest enemy. Keep it as a friend and understand that there's no time limit to setting targets, achieving targets, and exceeding your target's expectations that you cannot wait for. We already said it. I don't know whether you joined this chat at the beginning, but I think we already dealt with this. Keep your eyes on the ball. Keep it focused on achieving those things. And let's rework the strategies that you have. I'm glad that you're already a member of the sales team, of the Queen of Sales community. I think that just being a member of it, I'm sure you can, send me private messages on LinkedIn. Not that I have all the time to respond to everything that I get, but if you send me some, I mean, if you let me know what kind of client that you're trying to chase, what you have with this community is a network of people who are well connected. So maybe we can be of help to you. Maybe you're not speaking to the right people. Maybe you're not working in the right circles. Maybe your strategy is not hitting your sales drive where it should be hitting it. It's not touching the nerves that it should be touching. And maybe it's a strategy thing that we need to recalibrate and re-strategize on. And if that's the case, find a mentor who's willing to work with you and who can help you, and work with them. And very happy to help you with that. send me a direct message on LinkedIn. I'm very happy. I mean, the Queen of Sales is giving you an opportunity already. So, there's a lot of us here. And I'm sure that, like I said before, that there's a lot of people who are in the oil and gas sector who are also, industry leaders who I'm sure will be willing to support. That's why you're here. And I'm hoping that you get the right support that you need. But most importantly, 1 year is not enough time to give up. You haven't, 1 year is a teething period. You have a whole lifetime ahead of you. As long as you are determined. Have you seen when a woman is chasing a man and a woman wants a man, even when the man is not her own? If she's determined to get that man, you know now how you women and we women are. We go for it. So keep that kind of focus on what you're doing, in your career. And I think that if you are that focused and that determined, you will get it. Maybe you're not hungry enough. Maybe they're still paying you a salary, whether or not you get that deal. When you get hungry enough, you will get it because you would have no choice. It will be the only way, truth and light for you. So stay focused and stop counting the days and the years. You have no business counting the days and the years. Every time they close a door at you, come back, recalibrate, and find new strategies to ensure that you open that door. And ensure, more importantly, that when you open that door, you stay in there, because that's a bigger job. So don't get bowed down by the fact that in a year you haven't achieved it. Let's recalibrate and let's re-strategize. Do things slightly differently, and I think that you would achieve everything that you set out to achieve when you do that.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll drop the message on LinkedIn.
No problem.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Iyadunni. And there was something you mentioned, Dr. Iyadunni, earlier on concerning non-bulging deals, like non-yielding clients or potential clients. You mentioned having as many, so one can drop and focus on others while that is still brewing. You
Yes.
are still recalibrating, so to say. I think it would be better for you, Favor, to have as many of clients you're chasing in your ticket, so in your bucket, sorry, so you have other things that is occupying you and also building you. And that's all from our Q&A session. It was quite refreshing. I mean, listening to Dr. Iyadunni and her wealth of experience has been a breath of fresh air for me. And I'm sure every other person also has taken a thing or two from this session. Like I said, we had started earlier on, Queen of Sales is the platform, is the essence of this meeting, right? We're building a global community of female commercial representatives, and we have a goal, we have visions, and we have like several powerhouses. You've heard from Dr. Iyadunni. She is our country rep for Nigeria, and it's not just Nigerian alone, and the movement is across board, across other countries. Feel free to join in using the link in the chat box. The admin could please repost the link again for those who are joining. Okay, Flora has a question. I'm coming to you, Flora. Okay.
So I don't really have a question. It's just more a comment that I tried to join. Good evening, everyone. I tried to join for 1,000 of times, and I think I also spoke to Dr. Iyadunni about it, where I just never get invited to the WhatsApp group. I don't know if because I'm using a German number, but like, is there something that I can do? I've dropped it repeatedly on the chat too, saying I've sent this is like the 5th time I'm registering, and I haven't gotten invited to the community.
Did you go through the website?
Yes, I even literally just registered with the link that you just dropped. I literally registered on the link. And I think Dr. Iyadunni has also sent me the link earlier, and I used that link, and still the same thing. So really, I just wanted to highlight it here because I wasn't getting a response on the chat. Thank you. But well done. Thank you so much. Very insightful discussion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Flora. We can reach out to you. So I'm looking at a way where we can reach out to resolve this. Because normally from the Canva link, from the website dropped, you can go down to the end of the page and click on it to join. It's quite easy to join the WhatsApp group. But we would see how to get back to you on that. You can reach us on any of the contacts in the link to identify yourself so we can resolve that if that's fine. Because we have a contact on the website. So you can reach out to us personally so we can resolve that. Okay, thank you all for joining. Thank you for your time. This has been 2 hours of impactful, sizzling and refreshing time with Dr. Iyadunni. And like we said, we're looking forward to having you join the community. Now it's free, right? So you can take on the opportunity for free mentorship, free collaboration, building your network through other person's network in the community. Yeah, and that's the best and many more that would have to offer in the community. So thank you all for joining. Any last words from you, Dr. Iyadunni, before we close?
Thank you so much for having me here. I am super grateful and very, very privileged to be in this community. And I would do my very best to ensure that we continue to lead and to grow together. Thank you so much. And I hope that everybody has registered already to join the sales Queen of Sales community. And I'm hoping that you are looking forward to all the amazing things that we would achieve together. Thank you.
Thank you. And Flora, if you've seen, we've shared, and the admin has shared the forms link, so you can use that instead. So we have your details to reach out and resolve whatever issues you're having, as well as any other person. You can use this link as well to join. I mean, we get your data and we can reach out to you to resolve. So thank you so much, everyone. Wishing you a great evening and an amazing weekend. And don't forget all the key points we learned on this call. Yeah, this call is also recorded. So for those who will be joining the community, you would have access to everything we've spoken here. Thank you all for joining.